Howdy ho, Arkansas Pilgrim here again. Now, I'm kind of halfway through this already, but and she's with all the stuff that's been going on with me, which I won't bore you with, but making videos just hasn't been a priority, and probably posting this before I even finish the video that I filmed a month and a half ago that I only gave you half of so far. Anyway, I'm out. If you're in the south, this actually might be helpful to you. We've had a warm fall and a warm winter, and I'm getting my leaves taken care of right now, and I'm chopping them up for mulch. But I have well, I'm an engineer, so I made a more complicated way of doing it, which I thought I would share with you, which I think is actually going to be helpful with you, especially if you're a gardener. So as you see, this is actually just off my property. This is my neighbor's, all these leaves everywhere. Well, I raked mine up into this area, and I just raked them up into a big pile, and then I chopped them up with my lawnmower. But the trick is, the secret, and the way of doing it more complicated, is that you chop up the leaves, let the bag fill up, but don't empty the bag. Let the bag fill up, and then chop all of the leaves. Just keep on running through it, lifting it up and putting it on top of the pile of leaves, until you chop the leaves up, and they'll chop up fine like this. See all those? Well, take you over to to my planter bed where I'm putting these chopped up leaves. This is what it looks like when you empty like the first bag. First bag comes out like this. I've got a little bit of greenery in there, but you've got the leaves are chopped up a little. They are, and they'll make a nice mulch. But here we are back over at the place where the leaves were. You can see how fine these leaves are. Actually, it's really fine. And the second step is taking your mower and putting it as far down as it will go, and then go back over and vacuum all that stuff up. And you might end up having to go over it a couple of times, back and forth. Okay, here we are. This is the leaves that have been vacuumed up with the lawnmower in the second step, after having chopped them up first. The thing is, you get a lot of really fine mulch when you do it like this. Well, anyway, that's my pre-spring gardening tip for you. Preparing your mulch with your leaves, which you probably should have done back in September or October, but hey, I got away with it because I live in the South. Howdy ho, Arkansas Pilgrim here again. Still doing some mowing and chopping up those leaves to use as mulch, but I filled up my planter beds, as you saw in the previous video, and now I'm gonna start putting them on my garden area that I grew last year. If any of you were involved in Shed Wars 21 and saw any of those. But in taking a look at my garden, I'm going to do a little bit more before I start dumping mulch on it. So let me show you. Yep, here we go. Same kind of messy looking place. I did clear out all my previous plants that were growing, but I haven't taken up these stakes yet. I'm going to plant the tomatoes in a different spot just for crop rotation and all that. I do have, actually not all of these are weeds. I do have some, well, there are actually a lot of weeds in there, but that's my fall crop of beets, which I did kind of abandon because I didn't think they were going to make it. I thought they were going to get frozen out, but we've had such a warm fall and now a warm winter They're still growing. We'll see. I'll probably get something out of them. But something that's funny, if any of you saw my gardening this last year, couldn't get cabbage to grow to save my life, and now it's just popped up. It was one of the, I guess, a seed that must have laid dormant after everything else popped up and got eaten by the critters or bugs in the late summer and early fall. And actually, you've got a purple one over here too. But I'm not going to get anything out of them. Actually, this one, who knows? It may actually. Funny thing, my phone keeps shutting off after a couple of minutes while I'm filming. Got a new phone, and I don't know. There's weird stuff with it. But this, I'm going to go ahead and till this up after cleaning it up, and then I'll spread my more of that leaf mulch that I'm making. I'm actually going to try on some level to do the Back to Eden gardening, which Abundant Acres Homestead does, and I highly recommend you checking those guys out. But it's a long-term thing, and patience isn't one of my virtues. So we'll see how it goes. I still have to watch the movie about it and check out exactly what it means besides dumping wood chips on and waiting for them to rot. Anyway, that's enough for now. Captain's log, supplemental. Doing some more leaf mulching on another part of my property in another day, and while I was doing it, I had a thought, and it's probably the same thought many of you had while you were watching the earlier part of this video. Hey, you dummy, why don't you just take the bag off and use the lawnmower in mulching mode? Well, there's a really good reason I didn't do that. And that reason is I didn't think of it. I almost never use it in mulching mode. I bought it because it came with a bag. That was the purpose. And I originally was just mowing up leaves, let the bag fill up and go dump them. And then one time I noticed that, I had been mowing for a little bit too long, and I noticed how chopped up the leaves were that were in, the front part of the bag, the last part that had been cut. And I just, on autopilot, I'll just leave the bag on and keep mowing. So, I guess that's part of how I guess it was just a brain burp. Or not even a burp, just no brain activity whatsoever. Anyway, that's why I was doing it the way I was doing it. Well, I got this area vacuumed up. You can see over there, I push mowed this whole area up here. Now I went over it again. You can see the area that looks so smooth. This had a lot of pine needles in it. Pine trees right here. Not much grew up there just because of the pine needles. But so I got it, I vacuumed it up first, and I put it over there. So you can see, walk over to the garden. See, I kind of piled it up. See those two piles there? It's right next to my blueberry bushes. It's also right over the fence to keep it going slower. Keep me from having to slow down and come all the way around here and go through the gate. And I'm gonna go and use trusty rake to spread it around. But you can see, got the whole area that had cabbage planted, and some volunteer cabbage plants. Couldn't get them to grow myself, decided to grow themselves. Here I've got a couple blueberry bushes, which have produced a little, but got pine needles in here, which I think are acidic, so I'm going to spread all the pine needle mulch around these, help them a little more. Soil's acidic, but I even added ferrous sulfate to it to drop the pH more, because blueberries like pH down to almost 5, I think. And hopefully this is okay. I probably should have Googled it first. Make sure the pine needles are actually okay for blueberries. My luck, I'll look in there and and it'll say, whatever you do, do not put pine needles around blueberries. But if it says that, I'll let you know. So this is just an example again of doing what you can with what you have where you are. And as I mentioned earlier, this is sort of doing the back to Eden method. I don't have any wood chips, but this is what I do have. And I do have a wood chipper that I need to get repaired, and we'll see. And if I get that done, I'll show you that too. So God bless y'all. See you next time.